Today we're going to be talking deployment. I had some things written down and I thought this was a good topic to talk about because it's almost over. It's freaking almost over. I cannot believe it. We're getting into April now. It's almost done. It's almost over. It's crazy. I can't even. I'm just so excited. But yeah, so I was thinking, since we're talking deployment, which is all things stressful, why not just unwind a little bit and let's get into it. There are 4 things I'm going to cover, okay? These 4 things are what it's been like, what I didn't expect out of deployment, tips and advice, as well as care packages. Just starting off, what it's been like. So for me, it's good and bad. So the good things are that I've gotten to spend a lot of time with my in-laws, get to know them a little bit better, spend some quality time with my family, and kind of just focus on that. It's also given me some time to go ahead and focus on work as well. Now, bad. Let me just begin with deployment is stressful. It's been really emotional too. I mean, you can imagine living my life but not being with my husband. I've really felt out of place. I don't feel like I belong anywhere. I mean, obviously I have my family and his family, and they're super sweet. Everyone's really been very helpful in the situation, but it's a lot. I'm kind of just waiting for the moment that he comes back home, because I don't feel at home. Like, he's my home and he's not here, so I have to just kind of wait, and finally everything will feel like normal. But ever since we got married, like, it's really hard to sleep by myself. I got so used to like sleeping next to him and having him in bed and waking up next to him, and like sleeping at his parents' house or sleeping at my mom's house, it doesn't feel, I feel really out of place. It sounds like a downer, but it's honestly not. Like, we've gotten through it. We're almost done. Okay. So my husband actually sent me his responses to these 4 questions. And I'm going to read out what he wrote. He says, for what it's been like for him, it's been a good experiencing, visiting another country and trying new foods and seeing how differently their cultures are from ours. It was so, he's so cute. It was cool seeing how their armies do their training. Now, moving on to what I didn't expect, the 7-hour difference, okay? This 7-hour difference has been a pain in my behind. In the beginning, he would stay up late to make sure I got home safe from work, and other times I would stay up late so I can say good morning to him, because when I'm basically going to sleep 2 a.m., he's waking up. It's like 9 o'clock over there. There was a lot of lack of communication opportunities. Another thing I didn't expect is what's currently happening, which is the coronavirus, COVID-19. That's something I don't think anyone expected to happen. I didn't expect is for me to react the way I did. I tried to keep it cool and casual, like I wasn't worried about it. But honestly, like, thinking about it, I'm super freaked. Like, he's in Europe and it's just, oh my God. I don't know. It's just concerning, obviously, because this is something nobody expected to happen, and it did happen. It's happening right now. So I get so worried about him. So he left in October for 9 months, coming back in June. The whole process of getting to that point where you actually know when your husband's coming back, it's kind of stressful, because you're like, damn it, like, if this gets delayed, I'm gonna be so sad. What he didn't expect. He says, I knew how things were gonna be beforehand, like living situations and training schedules, but I didn't expect it to be so cold. for almost the whole rotation being here. Some tips that I came along with, and obviously I've done my research. I did some research online and looked at other people's YouTube videos in regards to deployment. And number one thing I will say that I needed to do was get a hobby. So I didn't necessarily get a hobby, but I did try to keep myself entertained as much as possible. I picked up as much overtime as I could. I hung out with my friends when I could. Another tip is stay in touch. Make an effort to always have your phone on you. I am really bad at this. I take forever to reply. I don't really pay attention to my phone that much, or I get distracted with stupid memes and all this stuff that I always forget to reply. Another tip, spend quality time with your in-laws and your family, because when he comes back, it's just going to be you two. And this is something I really have to say that kind of got me through this whole deployment. Honestly, I feel so blessed for this, but my parents live literally 5 minutes away from my in-laws, which is such a blessing, because whenever I feel stressed or I miss my family, I just drive. Like, I just drive over here, no biggie, come see them for a while and then go back. Oh yeah, this was a big thing for me, and I will say I failed at this. Try not to be too emotional. So it's just I'm not an emotional person to begin with, but when it comes to my husband, I'm completely like, I get emotional for everything. Like, I miss him so much, and I would tell him, and then we'd both get in our feelings, and that's super toxic. Try not to get too emotional, because then it stresses not only yourself, but it stresses your spouse out too. Because, I mean, my husband, you don't know how many times my husband has told me, I wish I could be there, but obviously I can't. It's his job, it's what he signed up for. And, I mean, that's what I love about him. He's really fearless. Another thing I will say is you have to stay positive. A lot of times I found myself kind of going into this depression, not just because I was missing him, but also because I was thinking of, if he was here, we could do this, and if he was here, but I can't be thinking if he was here because he's not here. And it's not fair to think like that. So just try to stay positive. It's better to count down the weeks than it is to count down the days. Counting down days was miserable for me, okay? It was completely horrid. I felt like this was never gonna end. Counting down the weeks, it felt more simple. It felt like it was closer, and it felt like time had passed by faster. Another tip or advice I will give is be understanding. You have to understand that the person, like, they have their own routines, they have their own things they have to do throughout the day. You can't just expect them to go ahead and drop everything, especially with the Army. Everything's pretty unpredictable. So you just have to be understanding with your time and their time. I did find myself getting like upset at my husband, I would say a couple of times, because he would tell me, and this is so true. So he would tell me, oh, I'm gonna watch a movie with my friends, and I'm over here thinking, like, dude, we never talk. Like, we don't have time to talk. The only thing we are doing right now is texting, and I want to talk to you. Like, drop what you're doing and talk to me, which is so unfair. Okay, that was so mean for me to say. Like, I don't know why I expected him to do that, but yeah, just be understanding. They have their own lives too. They're having their own, they have to kind of have a way to pass the time as well. I had to learn how to be more understanding. Remember that it's not for forever. That's another thing. You have to remember it's not forever. This is only temporary. Another thing, which is super key, loyalty, okay? Loyalty is, I would say, the number one thing. Yes, it can be, at times you can feel like, oh my God, I'm in this by myself. There can be times where you feel really lonely. That's when I found it most important to go ahead and be with my family, or be with his family. Kind of just get wrapped into a conversation with them, spend quality time with them, just sit with them, talk to them. You have to be open and honest with yourself, and not only yourself but with your spouse, about what you're feeling and what you're going through. Not all the time, because it can be kind of dragging, and it's hard. It's hard to talk about your feelings, but just know that they're feeling the same thing. Now let's see what my husband has to say about tips and advice. Okay, so he says, stay motivated and positive. Try to maintain communications with loved ones back home, friends, families, and don't do anything you wouldn't do in garrison. Last topic, care packages. So when I first started care packages, I was so obsessed with it, just because I love arts and crafts, and I love my husband, and I love like doing little things and sending little things that show him that I'm thinking of him and that I miss him. I'll see if I can add some pictures of some care packages that I've done. I am going to go ahead and upload some videos for the ones that I've done, because I did take videos back then, never posted it, never edited it, but one day they're coming. They're coming soon, I promise. Little tips and tricks for care packages. Add a letter in. I didn't think to do this in the beginning, but I saw a whole bunch of videos, and Pinterest was my best friend when it came to care packages. They have great ideas on there. 3 things I will say about care packages. 1, don't spend money on boxes. If you have a nearby USPS store by your house, or go to the USPS online, they do have flat rate boxes and they're free. If you do order those boxes online, it could take 2 to 3 weeks for you to receive them, so just keep that in mind. 2, it doesn't always have to be a big box. I was obsessed with getting big boxes and filling that shit up to the top. I just imagine him like digging in there and like, hey, what's in here? But you don't have to do all that. Like, now that deployment's almost over, I sent the tiniest little box, and it just had some snacks and a letter and a tiny balloon. Okay, so it doesn't have to always be something huge filled with a whole bunch of things, because that can be very costly. And that was that 3rd thing that I was gonna say. Don't splurge. When it comes to certain things, like if he tells you, babe, I need this for hygiene and all that stuff, then I can understand, like, make a whole box for hygiene, because that's something they use on an everyday basis. You don't always have to splurge and do a huge box. They have different sizes for a reason. My husband says, this is my husband's input on care packages. For care packages, it's different for everyone, but any snacks you miss and hygiene necessities you're missing would be ideal. So that's basically, from a soldier's point of view, what they need. Just snacks and hygiene things. You have to keep in mind that not everything they're going to be able to bring back, okay? Because I remember packing up for deployment, helping my husband pack his deployment bag. All the things he actually needed barely fit in his bag, okay? So sending him a whole bunch of stuff that he possibly can't bring back is not ideal. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. Comment down below if you want me to make any specific kind of videos. I'm kind of just going off of things I can talk about rather than things I can do, because I'm very limited as to what I can do because of this coronavirus. Don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys soon.